Welcome back to the green yard. We have a fun episode today, short episode, but a fun episode, giving you a little update about growing a rose apple here in the Phoenix desert. This is my rose apple tree. I've had it pretty much since we moved in. That winter I actually purchased it. Actually, that fall I purchased it. Went ahead and planted it in this spot. The passion fruit vine has kind of taken over since then. I'm definitely going to trim it back as it grows more. I bought it as a tiny, small 3-gallon tree. It was actually only about a foot tall or so when I purchased it. It had 2 trunks on it, and one of the trunks, I still don't know why, but one of them died. And so I was left with this other trunk that was really flimsy and floppy. This year I actually took the initiative to do a huge trim off it. So I actually took more than half the branch off, and now it's actually growing and supporting itself. And you can see it still has all of this beautiful new growth on here, and it's doing really well right now. We've actually been pretty cold the last couple weeks or so, in the low 40s for a low, mid to low 40s for a low, and then high 60s to 70 for a high. And apparently for our rose apples, they actually don't need that protection unless we're going to get, into the low 30s. That's when they require some cold protection. So as you can see, he's actually really happy right now, putting off all this new growth. This is all new growth in the last month or so, all these little leaves. So super happy with the colder temperatures. Definitely has a good microclimate set up here with our giant mulberry tree, but doing really well. So let's talk a little bit about mulch cover, planting, and any sort of fertilization that's been done. Here we go. So rose apple is actually native to tropical Asia, which I was a little surprised to learn. I thought it was actually native to the Caribbean, since it was introduced into the Caribbean in the 1700s and has pretty much become a staple there. So super excited about this guy. I'm hoping it fruits soon. I have seen fruit in the Phoenix area on much older trees than this. So I'm hoping in the next 5 years or so we'll actually get some fruit off of this rose apple. Fruit itself is supposed to be sweet and then have kind of a crunchy and sweet and have kind of a mild rose aftertaste. So I'm super excited to try it out. Like I said though, this tree has been growing. It's been doing really well. It's probably added about a foot or so this year. We've had a really good year in terms of growth. One of the things that I contribute to it though is this heavy mulch. We've talked about mulch before and how important it is, but it's really important when it comes to our tropical trees. So this all used to be hard clay dirt, just like this. I've heavily mulched it. In fact, I think this one has a couple inches of mulch on there. Definitely becoming that really nutrient-rich, organism-rich, darker soil down here. And if I keep digging, especially closer to the tree, it honestly just gets better and better. Look at how amazing that soil looks. So I planted this tree the same way I plant all my trees. I did mix that soil 50-50, but that was down towards where the trunk of this tree is. Over here, it really wasn't planted or amended. This is all just decomposed mulch that we added in here. I do also add a pellet fertilizer, and then of course sulfur. Just like all of our other tropical trees, these rose apple trees do require a lower pH in order to take up those nutrients that are available in the soil. You can see I have my Christmas lights around here. I did that originally because I was going to cover this guy this year, but since he's doing so well, I'm actually just going to leave him be, and I'm a little too lazy to take those Christmas lights away. And also just in case I do need to cover him if we get super cold this year. So that was kind of a super quick growing a rose apple here in the Phoenix Desert. Like I said before, I've seen mature rose apple trees that are, 5-6 feet tall, and they do produce fruit, which is really great. So I know it's possible to get rose apple to fruit here in the Phoenix Valley. Mine's just not there yet. It's still a little tiny rose apple, but I'm hoping in the next 5 years or so I do get some fruit off of this rose apple tree. It's doing so well though. It's growing immensely this year. Like I said, put on about a foot of growth, and it's really important to mulch heavily and provide that sulfur so that the tree can take up some nutrients itself. One thing I wanted to mention with this rose apple is I actually cut back my watering a lot this year. The previous year when we first planted it and first moved in, I was watering this guy every week, especially during the summer. Obviously now it's different that we're getting colder, but during the summer I was watering it every single week, getting that new plant started. This past year I only watered this once every 2 weeks when we got our flood irrigation. So definitely doesn't require as much water as you think it would, or at least not for me. Now I do have this heavy layer of mulch, which does offer some water protection and evaporation protection as well. So definitely a good thing to add that mulch in here, so that way these trees don't require quite so much water and they can kind of retain that moisture in the soil itself. So that's growing a rose apple here in the Phoenix Desert. I'm hoping soon that I will have a harvesting video for you guys on this beautiful rose apple tree. But until then, live green, plant lots, and of course, have fun. We'll see y'all next time.